Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, gamers, Dead or Alive players, and maybe YouTube viewers, depending on what side of the world you live on. This is Juri Han 7 from PlayStation 3, or should I say PS3 trophies.org as the URL web address. From the Dead or Alive 5 forum fighting game section of the website, which on a very important note, if you would like more details about my method and my strategy of survival mode, you may visit the website and you may look up at my guide, which is titled My Leifang Survival Guide, there as well if any of you are interested in it. This will be a very detailed tutorial on how to use Leifang in survival mode effectively and a bit very well using my method of the guide. Obviously, I will cover everything I can, as much as I can, about what you need to know about using Leifang in survival mode and eventually succeeding clearing the 100 defeat wins from survival champ mode onward. Before I start, I want to give out a shout out to my PS3 trophies.org homies, buddies, and friends who who have supported me and still support me there on the Dead or Alive 5 forums. You know, mostly Kagarasimaru. Sorry, it's Kagarasimaru if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry, I'm kind of not that good at pronouncing awkward names. I think it's Kagarosimaru, if I believe, aka Kokoro Master on YouTube. I hope again, once again, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Sorry, I'm so sorry if I'm not. And also this special nice girl over there, which goes by the name of Imalia the Saga. I don't know exactly how to pronounce your last part of your username, but forgive me. You know who you are, Emalia. Anyway, before we get started, I want to bring out a couple of frequent questions regarding my method and a lot of stuff that people ask. The first question is, why should I use Leifang for survival mode instead of Lisa or Alpha 152 or any other person? Well, I'll tell you a bit from my knowledge, and I'll break it down for you as much as I can. First thing first, Leifang, from my point of view and analysis or analyze, you can say, from my many successful runs of just destroying survival mode. As a matter of fact, for people who don't know me from the website or not familiar with me, I have actually managed to destroy every survival mode 6 times already. With Leifang, obviously, all 100 survival mode defeat modes needed, which is obviously from champ to legend, and obviously that makes up for a total of 24 times I have had to get 100 wins and clear it. Yeah, I know it's very insane, but I'm a crazy guy. I sometimes love challenging. I love survival pain for some reason. Of course, I'm pretty much retired for now. I don't think I'm ever gonna do it for any of my accounts anymore, because I pretty much just nailed it. I have defended my method and I have tested it to prove other people that doubt my thing and that claim, oh, it doesn't work. You can't do this on Leifang. It doesn't work for Champ or Onward. It doesn't work for Legend or that. That's BS. People who say that obviously don't know how to use Leifang effectively, and you're just lacking something. But anyway, I'm here to help you. I'm here to break it down everything I can as much as possible because, and honestly, I care about you guys. I care about helping people, and I want people there are like players mostly to succeed and clearing survival mode, those who still haven't or are still struggling. Anyway, back to the frequently asked questions. Once again, why should I use Leifang? Well, like I said, after clearing and destroying survival mode a total of 6 times already, on 6 different accounts, 2 of my Xbox ones and 4 of my PlayStation Network ones, I come out with no doubt analysis. Sorry. First of all, she's an extremely safe character if you know how to use her and play her my ways in survival mode. What you call it? She's very safe, but like I said, you compare to Alpha 152 and Lisa, you don't have to worry about comboing or always being up close to destroy or defeat your opponent in survival mode, because Leifang has a special game she can play, which is kind of like a keep away with her charge attack, which is simply executed by directional 1 and then punch plus kick. For those that don't know how to read it numbers, it's down, back, and then punch K, which is a charge attack for Leifang. So once again, she can mostly deal with any enemy except for maybe Lila and who else? Lisa, obviously. You can pretty much just destroy it and eliminate opponents using that move. But of course, it requires you to know very, very important key elements in order for you to come victorious with that move. And I'll explain later. Sorry about that. It went black. I'm taking my time to talk a bit. Yeah, but like I said, yeah, that's pretty much it. For now, explaining it. She's very safe. You don't have to confine your enemies most of the time up close. You can keep them at a distance and just keep punishing them with that attack. Of course, it is helpful you combo, but let me bring it out. Frequently asked questions. Do I need to know how to combo with Leifang? No, honestly, you don't need to know that much combos with her. The main combos are only for characters such as Mila and Lisa that for some reason they become smart at reading your poke attack or should I say your charge attack. So you gotta mix it up a bit so you don't get creamed by them and you defeat them. Which I'll show you an example here. Of course, when I start survival, and pretty much the purpose of knowing how to combo a bit for her is to use it as kind of like a shake-off tool. What do I mean by shake-off tool? I mean that, say for example, if the opponent gets very close to you and I guess they try to pressure you and start attacking up close and obviously ruin your trap game with the charge attack, you can shake them off by performing a small combo and obviously shaking them off, and while they're on the floor, buying you some time to again zone yourself again and reposition yourself or space yourself again on obviously Leifang's what I like to call very safe or a bit safe and advantage zone area position or space that you should be you should be able to be a bit safe and start your wall game again. I mean your charge attack trap game again. Besides that, no. What combo should I know? What combo should I memorize for defense? Is probably another question. They're pretty simple. I mean, pretty much so you learn a couple of stun priority strings, which I actually know two of them. One of them is I believe it's 4KK, which is for those of people again who don't know how to read numbers in fighting games. It's back KK. Okay, and also you can use back punch. Although for some reason I feel that back KK, or should I say 4KK, comes out at a faster frame. So it's actually more better using the back KK stun attempt strings attacks than the back punch ones. Anyway, usually the combo I'm gonna be doing is after I get a successful stun priority on my opponent. If it connects, I'm gonna go for a launch after that. The launch is performed by 3 kick. Yes, 3 kick, and then it's punch and K, punch plus K. That's the launch. For people who don't know how to read numbers again, it's forward, back, directional input, kick, and then punch kick to do the launch. Okay, and then always when they're in the air and they're helpless, you can juggle, of course, with a simple combo, which is easier to memorize. The combo is there's two that you can use. One is for people who are a bit more familiar with the game, they're a bit skilled with spine inputs. But the basic one is to juggle them a bit and inflict more damage while they're in the air is punch KK. It's very easy to memorize, or you can go for the bit more advanced and a bit more damaging one with the last hit connecting. It's punch kick, and then instead of obviously finishing with another kick, you press kick plus hold, or the counter button, whatever people call it or you call it, and then the last attack obviously is going to bring him down a bit harder and the damage is slightly a bit stronger. So that's all you need to know. Other than that, you're probably going to see me doing mixing up maybe punch down K, which is simply a fast frame string of jabs with a low sweep. Obviously you're going to see me doing low sweeps, which is either down and then hold plus kick at the same time, or it's going to be down back and then KK, which is a double sweep. But yeah, and once again, the other combo you might see is after a stun, you might see me do simply 6 punch KP, which is punch kick punch. Kick forward, which is forward punch K punch. Sorry, I think you get the concept, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, we just talk about the key elements that you must master a bit in order for you to succeed with Leifang. Alright, first of all, you obviously need to know how to sidestep, how to sidewalk a bit, because this will help you out definitely a lot. You do not ever want to be behind a wall. That's very dangerous. You always want to turn the wall and make the opponent mostly be close to the wall instead of you. You always want to keep the enemy as much as possible near a wall. That's a very important element. So, guys and girls, gamers of any gender, please do practice that. Practice, if you haven't mastered it, practice how to sidestep, and then maybe side steps to free sidewalk, which is, if they're doing a successful side step, you just hold the directional. You actually input it for originally doing the side step. Like, let's say you side step by pressing up twice, then just simply hold up after a successful upward side step, and you'll keep walking upward sideways. Or if you side stepped a bit downward, just keep holding down after a successful downward side step, and then you'll keep walking downward sideways. That's all you need to know, man. You gotta maintain the wall as much as possible towards the enemy. Don't allow the wall to be right behind you. You don't want that ever to be there. As soon as you see the wall being behind you, always reposition yourself as best as you can. Another thing, a lot of people, the thing I hate about people bringing Leifang, saying, the people talk about, you can just spam Leifang's charge attack, which is 1 punch plus K, or you can exploit it. Well, let me just correct that. Honestly, in a bit that term kind of pisses me off, because that's not how you really play Leifang Survival. If you try to do that, if you try to spam or so-called exploit it, you're not gonna get so far. You'll eventually get creamed. You're gonna fail. You're gonna get destroyed if you try that way. And I'll tell you the secret to do it. In order for you to succeed and obviously reaching the end of 100 wins with Leifang in surround mode, you must know when to throw her charge attack. And then, obviously the question is now, you're asking yourself, how do I know when is the right time to throw it? How to, what should I look for? Well, obviously there's something called, in fighting games, there's something called hitbox, and recovery frames. You may ask yourself, what is a recovery frame and hitbox? Well, I'll explain to you now. A recovery frame hitbox in a fighting game is when an attack misses the opponent, obviously from hitting you, and there's a bit of recovery frame, which means that the enemy takes a few seconds or a bit of a second to recover, and for him or her to do another animation. And obviously they're vulnerable at that exact moment or time. They can't counter, they can't attack you, and they can't defend, because obviously the hitbox recovery frame exposure moment, it's taking over for them, and it's denying them from doing anything that can harm you. Every enemy you face in survival mode has one of these, and I pretty much have it all in my head. And once we get started, I'll obviously point it out as best as I can, so you guys can pay attention and know exactly what to look for and when to throw your 1 PK, which is her charge attack. And obviously punish them eventually on the wall trap game. If you eventually, I suggest that you practice a bit, you spend some time in survival mode, and you get what you would call it. You eventually become familiarized with the animations of the enemy's attack, when they miss, when are they open to a free attack, and you eventually get it, eventually in your head. And once you master that bit, you will have no problem whatsoever with Leifang that much. You pretty much will nail every single enemy that comes at you, except for maybe if you get lucky a bit, you lose your thing, or you lose your cool, or you lose your focus or such, but you pretty much nail it. Let's talk about wall traps a bit. You're gonna see me abuse the wall trap a bit, but hey, um, enemies are annoying, so you might as well cream them the best as you can or the fastest. And basically, the wall trap game is like you get double hits once they end up in the wall by the 1 PK attack that I use, which is the charge attack. And then they pretty much are done with 4 wall attacks, so these are wall traps done to them. Now again, if I haven't brought it, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna bring it back again. Let's talk about zoning strengths and weaknesses. Just like Leifang, every opponent you face in survival mode has their zoning, position, and area, strengths, weaknesses, advantages, disadvantages, and knowing a bit about it, it's very important and essential for you to succeed in survival. Same thing with Leifang. When she's up against an opponent, there's specific zoning, strengths, advantages, weaknesses, disadvantages, and areas you should avoid as much as possible, or try to avoid if you're within that area. And also regaining being within the zone or area position that you want to be safe again, and then punish the opponent obviously without much pressure or harm from getting pressurized to be eventually creamed or destroyed. Oh yeah, one more thing before we start. Obviously, this session I'm gonna play in champ, obviously, because it makes no difference if I play on legend or a true master. Obviously, if I show you on champ and I clear 100 wins, it's proof. I want you guys or girls or all gamers watching to please pay attention to my zoning, spacing, position against every enemy I face. That obviously I maintain when facing each opponent in my video. These are often Leifang's safe, good advantage area or areas you should always maintain as long as possible, because they are your opponent's weakness, more or less, which favors you always, alright? Or more or less favors you if you know what you're doing. Anyway, gamers, here we go. Let's get started. Obviously, you're right. I'm gonna pick champ, obviously, survival. And I'm gonna pick maybe with the bunny suit, because for some reason I feel that Leifang's bunny suit is my lucky charm a bit. Or I just feel comfortable playing with her. It brings me a bit of luck, even though I honestly don't need luck that much. But so here we go. Leifang with her cute bunny suit, her lucky bunny ears, to get started with this tutorial survival that hopefully will help you guys and girls, players, gamers, succeed in survival mode eventually if you try my method. Anyways, get started. Okay, I'm gonna pause it a bit, and I'm gonna talk about Helena, obviously, which is my first opponent. I'm gonna describe what zone you should be in. Helena is more or less a bit dangerous. About 2 steps or 2.5 steps or less. Like if you don't distance yourself for that much. The reason why is because she has habits. Mostly she likes, obviously, going for her crazy slap pokes, or she likes going for her down position. her low stance, or I'm sorry, I don't know how to exactly mention it, but I think some of you Dear Life players know what I mean, like her low stance. Um, she really isn't that dangerous, or has a good reach, but she does have a good reach. Uh, her 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 longest reach arsenal is obviously a low sweep she can do on her low stance, obviously, which has a good reach. I think it can reach you. It can reach you if you're within a 2.5 uh, feet space away from her, or 2.5 up to. I think you're pretty safe from it if you say like you're between 3.5 feet away from her, or steps. So we're gonna call it by steps. I don't like saying feet. Let's call it by steps from now on. And if I say feet, just pretend I'm saying steps. So forgive me about when I'm describing like the position you should be on. Yeah, but like I was saying, if you stay within the radius of 3 steps or 3.5 steps from her, you should be fine. You should have no problems like punishing her with the charge attack. And once again, if she gets close to us, we gotta shake her off with obviously the stun priority strings first, and then we try to actually go for launch, and then the juggle, and then buy yourself some time. Obviously, you reposition yourself to Leifang's safe zone. Uh, safe zone. Uh, Good position, and her strength, her best position to facing off against the opponent we're facing. Anyway, I'm gonna try to describe her open hitbox, Helena, if I can. So here we go. Obviously, she's getting too close to us, so we gotta shake her off. Then we're gonna go for launch, and there we go. That's the combo right there. Okay. Oh wow. All right, that works. You want to be like within like this radius right here. You're safe, see? See, that worked. Okay, here we go. This is Akira. Akira, if you know what you're doing, and you know his like weak zoning and area position or zoning that you should be on, he will not pose that much of a problem. He's very dangerous if he gets close to you, or if he's within, like, let's say, uh, two steps away from you, or sometimes like randomly 2.5 steps away from you. He's dangerous because he randomly throws a bit of a charge poke that kind of, he moves forward a bit with his fist. But otherwise, if you're like, let's say, 3 steps away from him, and you always try to bait him with obviously her charge attack, which is one or down back punch plus kick at the same time, then he shouldn't pose a problem. If he gets close to you and you want to counter, he's mostly a mid counter person. But I wouldn't recommend countering that much. You should shake him off instead, unless you have a decent amount of life. Obviously, to spare and risk going for a counter in case you mess up the counter, and he still is able to punish you because he stuns you, obviously due to your failed counter and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna point out now. Mostly like his hitbox frame recovery, which is when you should throw your 1 PK, and if you memorize it, obviously he will never be able to counter you, or he has no chance of defending or retaliating anyway. Welcome back, gamers, Zero Light players, and fighting game fans to, once again, Juri Han 7's tutorial survival mode of learning how to use or play as Leifang a bit the good right way on survival mode, part 2 of this tutorial. We left off, if I'm not mistaken, a bit, starting to actually do a survival mode session, breaking down at least Helena as a opponent. But I will start from scratch again for this part 2 of my survival mode tutorial for a better, informative, non-confusing video part, for the better. I know this might be annoying, but I just want to make sure, gamers and Dead Live players and fighting game fans who are watching my tutorial video, that you're actually getting some information, and you're actually getting on your head pretty much what you need to know playing as Leifang in survival. So I'm gonna bring some stuff that I went over on part 1 of my previous part of the video, and maybe it'll help you refresh your memory. So therefore, before we start again with my breakdown of each opponent and how you should handle each one. Once again, let's go over a bit what I talked about in part 1 of my tutorial, where I pretty much just sat down a bit and went over a few things, questions and answers regarding Fang. Once again, you're probably asking yourself, why Leifang instead of, let's say, Lisa or Alpha 152? Once again, I'm going to say it again and state it that from my knowledge and experience of pretty much being able to successfully crush and destroy all 100 win required modes of survival, she has a few advantages versus Lisa and Alpha 152, Leifang, obviously. One of these advantages is that she's by far, in my book, in my opinion, my experience, my success in survival mode, probably one of the safest characters in survival mode you could ever use. It's a true fact if you know how to use her like I do, or some of you guys probably can use her better, but you just put it that way. You don't need, once again, to learn long combos or complex ones involving, let's say, critical stuns or bursts, really, compared to, say, Lisa, where, you gotta memorize, like, that crazy input, or, I don't know, like more than 10 input commands of her, and you gotta also worry about often getting that critical stun burst on your opponent in order to do the highest damage possible with the combo. So, pretty much, you don't have to worry about that. That'll take some pressure off of you if you stick with Leifang. So, you'll be alright, pretty much, if you pretty much play basic with Leifang and attack more or less with the short combos or strings, and once again, you don't have to worry about getting critical stuns or any of that BS. So she's good. And once again, like I said, if you play her like I do, you don't have to worry about, obviously being up close all the time to destroy your opponent. Like, say, Lisa, we have to get that combo constantly on you. Or Alpha doing her crazy damaging combo, you can pretty much take out pretty much every single opponent except maybe Lisa and Mila with your charge attack. But once again, that isn't saying that instead of, like, let's say, that isn't saying much. Like, let's say that you're not entitled to learn something more complex. Still, that can compare to the critical stun. Once again, you still gotta master a bit and learn how to read a few of your opponent's open hitbox exposure frames of animations, and recovery moment, in order to use effectively her charge attack. You also gotta know which type of attack you have to use. I mean, there's three types of attacks from my knowledge. There's a quick non-charge one. There's a small or medium charge one, and there's probably the full charge attack one. But you hardly have to do it. Most of the time, you'll be throwing out either the non-charge ones or the medium to short charge type of, obviously Leifang's one PK attack or back down. I mean, down back punch plus kick thing. Oh yeah, and on the side note, this is for people who have a hard time, obviously inputting punch plus K due to maybe, I guess, a lot of reasons. Maybe your control is busted, maybe the inputs are old. I mean, the buttons are old, or they're worn out, and they don't register your two button taps at the same time very good or accurate. I suggest, before you get into survival mode, that you go to options and you go to controls and you choose custom made controls, and you pretty much, if you're a default person, you can set up everything default. You can, for example, you can put on this is for Xbox users, sorry, for Xbox, but I'm going to try to lay it down for the PS3 because it's pretty much the same. You can, let's say you can assign the blue button, which is X, as always, the obviously default, which is hold or counter or block, and you can set Y, which is the orange or yellow button, to punch, obviously, and you could change the B button, which is the red one, to kick, and A, which is the green one, to obviously throw. Now here's what you need to put, and it's easier for you. I suggest making sure that your right bumper, which for PS3 users it should be R1 if I'm not mistaken. You make that button to be punch plus kick, the command, alright? So that way you don't have to worry about to do her charge attack or her bait game or ball trap. You don't have to worry about tapping Y and B at the same time with two fingers or one finger, and then probably messing up the input if you're not good at obviously inputting at the same time. This will help you a lot. This will help people who have difficulty, who have a worn out controller, who have sweaty hands and all that, who have short fingers or something like that. And it'll make the survival mode process much easier to play as Leifang effectively. Other than that, to do my complex combo, like let's say the juggle that I mentioned, that it's punch kick, and then hold plus kick. Instead of actually tapping hold plus kick, you can just tap, let's say, right trigger, which is R2, I believe, on the PS3. And there you go. You just have to tap one button for pretty much all the important stuff of Leifang. Also, you can do a lot of good stuff that I use often, like the low sweep, which is instead of tapping. Oh, sorry, went dark. Instead of tapping, let's say, low. I mean down and then hold plus kick. You can just tap, let's say, down and then right trigger, or down and R2 for PS3 users. And that's pretty much it. It just makes you know, a lot of stuff that seems complex, or it could mess up your input much easier. So you don't have to struggle with that, or messing up a bit your inputs for a control. Because believe it or not, like if you mess up, it could cost you dearly, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure that you go to customize controls configuration and adjust it to that if you want to attempt my method of Leifang. Um, okay, so now we're gonna begin to once again break down the opponents as best I can, and we're gonna talk about. You know, you're gonna see a lot of stuff here. So let me point that out. You're gonna see me sidestepping a lot, side walking, because like I said on my first part, I don't ever want to be behind a wall. I want to always more or less turn the wall and have it against the opponent that favors me instead. I don't ever want to be next to the wall, because that could be very dangerous. It could cost me my progress of survival, and it could cream me very fast or destroy me if I'm not careful. So once again, I hate saying it, I hate repeating myself, but if you haven't, before you attempt my thing, please practice side stepping and also free side walking at the same time. This will help you a tremendous amount, and it's a required element that you should master a bit. Okay, once again, I'm sorry I'm being kind of bringing stuff up that you guys are pretty annoyed, but it's for your own good, guys and girls, you know, who played their live and stuff. Um, I'm gonna break down pretty much the safe areas of Leifang and the dangerous zones and areas that the opponent excels at or it favors them. And I'm also when I'm finished doing that and I'm actually fighting, I'm gonna try to show you and expose you the uh, what is it called, the hitbox expose recovery frames for each opponent, which is precisely when you should throw your 1PK and release it. This isn't like for a beginner or for a person who's not familiar with fighting games. This isn't very easy to you know, master at the beginning. It takes some time, and I understand, but if you're willing to put some time to it, it'll pay off. Don't worry. It's like, let's say if you spend about 5 days like getting this on your head, you'll eventually get it and nail it, and you'll be able to read it. Almost every opponent is exposed hitbox recovery frames where they're vulnerable and they can't do anything to defend themselves against you, and you'll pretty much just cream, and you'll make it pretty much every opponent your biatch. You own them pretty much. Sorry about that little minor foul language, but I like throwing humor once in a while. Okay, let's start with the zoning tactics and how to be in how to avoid. Obviously, our opponent is Mila. Um, Mila is very dangerous, like up close, very obviously, because she likes to abuse like her quick jabs, mixtures, which is a mix of jabs with medium kicks and low kicks. Um, she also likes to confuse you and thinking that she's gonna like keep throwing kicks or jabs, and instead she cancels into takedowns, which can be annoying. And if you're not very good at breaking, uh, you know, combo throws, she could destroy your cream real quick if she gets you in a lot of those. Which reminds me, that will help a bit too as well. Like you should spend some time in story mode. In story mode, there's like a tutorial where it tells you that attempt breaking um, three combo throws. I believe it's like in one of Zach's story mode progress, where he fights Tina and Mila all by himself. I suggest you spend some time in that chapter or fight, and you do it, let's say 3 times or twice the mission that tutorial tells you. And if you can do it down, then you're pretty much okay. I'm pretty sure you can get the timing right for breaking Mila's grab. takedown in case she takes you down in survival mode, and you should be okay for that. So like, you know, pretty much, like I said, her danger zone is up close, which is it can reach up to 2 steps away from you. So I suggest sticking to around 2.5 steps to 3 steps away from her, and that's your good. That's your good and that's your good zone and position that favors you most of the time versus Mila. However, Mila has like a random good reach. I'm not gonna lie. She has like this punch that has a good reach that it's like an instant knockout or push back thing where it basically like throws you to the ground. It has like an impact, a blow impact. But that doesn't cover as much. Her biggest reach, it's like a funny like somersault kick where she pretty much is. It's kind of like the move that King does, like the Hurricanrana, you know, put it that way. It's obviously not a throw for her. It's like a kick that she sacrifices her body into a somersault and she attempts to hit you. It has a good reach. It can reach you close by 5 steps. I mean 3 steps away from her if you are. So if you worry about that move, I suggest being 3.5 steps away from her instead of the 3 steps suggested. Oh yeah, one more thing. Mila, as mentioned, she's probably one of the few opponents that you gotta mix your game up and you gotta combo, because once again her AI becomes smart somewhat. Probably the only one of the few opponents that you'll face that they actually are able to predict your charge bait game, and you could get away with landing the attack on her about 3 to 4 times and getting her on the wall trap actually 2 times or 3 if you're lucky, and then the next one you should avoid that. Chances are that she'll start getting good and then she'll sidestep that, and she'll just like take you down if you're up close, and then you don't want that to happen. So mix it up, get her on the stuns after you get her on 3 charge attacks, and that's your thing. All right, let's start now the session. Let's try to take down Mila. All right, obviously she's too close, so I'm gonna shake her off. And there's the combo. Open hip pass, she didn't do anything. And that's the ball trap game once again. That's a sample. You get, I don't know if I said this in the first video, but I mean in the first part of my tutorial, but the good thing about Leifang is that like her charge attack has a good reach. She's so good at. She has a good reach, an incredible reach, and what's so good about this is that pretty much, if you get him on the wall, damage danger zone, and she obviously goes straight in that side, which is an instant ground landing. You can't follow up on the wall impact after your opponent hits it. You're always guaranteed more or less a second quick charge attack, but don't charge it this time. Like I said, don't charge it. Just execute it and then release it. Don't charge it at ever, or you'll miss. You'll miss the second damage thing, and you'll miss up your wall trap game, which you don't want to do. You want to take advantage of the wall trap game as much as possible, and you'll destroy the enemy quicker that way. So, you know, to follow up after the wall impact of an enemy, if you're able to, don't ever charge her 1 PK or a down back PK move, charge attack. It doesn't have to charge. That's the good thing about it. It can be a charge attack, it can be a quick poke, or it can be a full charge thing. Alright, so keep that in mind. There's so many ways to use it. That's what's so good about it. Alright, we're done with Mila. Alright, our next opponent is Brad Wong. Obviously the drunken crazy guy. I know, like previously, like in my guide for those who actually read already on PlayStation3Trophies.org, I pointed out that he was a bit of a punching bag and easy to deal with. But For some reason, like I felt he's a bit, he could be a bit aggressive. Uh, so I want to point out that you should ignore some of the facts I stated in my guide on the website. Um, the changes that I'm gonna add or change about the tactic to handle him is that he's a guy that you should play defensively a bit, because if you don't play defensively and patient a bit, he could quickly like turn the tides on you, and if you're not careful, he can just end you. He can destroy you. He can like end your survival progress real quick, simply because he has a few moves that are a bit annoying and they have incredible reach. And some that might be confusing if you're not familiar with them. Uh, the main one that it's annoying and it's very hard to predict, and even if you have your good reach, I mean your good zoning area that otherwise kind of favors you, as long as he doesn't do that move, is his drunken torpedo attack. I think the real life players know what I'm talking about by now. Which basically it's like a head first drunken torpedo he does, where it does quite a bit of damage if it lands on you and it has a good reach. Like I said, if you're familiar with it or have gotten hit with it a couple of times, so you gotta watch out for that. If he doesn't do it, and instead he does like a string of simple attacks or short combos, and you obviously are able to identify the exposed hitbox recovery frame from him, then you'll be okay. You don't have to worry about the his torpedo BS, as long as you get pretty much when to release, obviously, her charge attack. The safety positions and advantages zoning, and the steps that you should be taking. Brad Wong, obviously, it's very dangerous. A bit 2.5 steps from you, and obviously he's a bit dangerous, also a bit far away, even from your usual classified safety zone, or the zone or space area that kind of favors you because of that annoying torpedo attack once again. But if you're able to read or you predict that it's not going to happen and you're lucky, don't worry about it. It's doable. So, you should maintain about 3 steps away from him, and if you play defensively and you're patient, you should be fine. Don't worry about killing him so quick, because if you're like in a hurry and you're hesitating to get it quick, it could cost you once again. Just so take your time, play defensively, and just watch out for his torpedo, which is very unsafe. If upon block, you can just go for a sweep and then you'll punish him. Or if he gives you mercy a bit and then he decides to go for simple strings, you can just punish him with the charge attack. When obviously the recovery frame hitbox is exposed to you at that precise moment, and you obviously get the parent and timing when to release it. Anyways, let's get started with Brown Wine. You try to take him out now. See, there you go. See, very punishable. There you go, see? Stay away from him. Exposed hitbox right there. Oh wow, see, he got me. Okay, one thing I would like to point out is that often I don't like getting up instantly. As you can see, I'm like taking my time to lay down. You may ask yourself why? Why, Juri Han? Why do you want to lay down a bit? Well, I'll tell you why. Number one, if you're laying down, you're pretty much safe from a follow-up BS that the computer may try to get you. Or let's say a combo he might start and you're forced to block. It's easier like if you have to deal with that. And another thing is, you sometimes want to get the opponent to come at you or close to you, close enough for you to be able to attack them and reach them with a wake-up kick. because a wake up kick often can save your life or save you a lot of times. It could be like a move where it can have stun priority, and you can start a small combo to shake him off and end his misery or her misery, or what you call it, it could mean that it could mean something like, for example, it could be the last move you actually need to defeat him and such. So it will be a lifesaver, believe it or not. So that's why I'm taking my time and I don't get up instantly. You only get up instantly if you know that the opponent can, like Helena, can force you to come, like get yourself up by attacking you low, or like if you know the opponent has a habit of attacking you low. Like let's say Hayate or Hayabusa, that they like jumping on top and then doing that stupid ground stomp attack on you, which you should definitely get up instantly as fast as possible. But pretty much the rest of the opponents, they hardly abuse that move, so you don't have to worry about it. If you get knocked out a bit far away from your opponent, stay down a bit, you know, strategize until they come close to you to see what you would do when you get up or you get that wake up kick on them if it lands. Most of the time they won't ever block the wake up kick, which is good, and they're stupid, the AI. So you should take advantage of that as well. Alright? Wake up, punishing open hitbox right there. Alright. Alright, let's go for a sweep. And success. This is Leifang right here, which obviously it's your clone, your copy. You may ask yourself, how do I deal with my own self or my clone? Who is the bearer Leifang? Who is the true Leifang? Okay, Leifang mostly is pretty best confronted from 2.5 steps or 3 steps away. She pretty much likes doing her, basic Tai Chi string attacks, and often likes copying you. She often would try to do the same charge attack you do, which is the 1 PK on you, so you gotta watch out for that, and obviously has a good reach, so you gotta watch out for it. So yeah, basically you gotta watch out for that. She also has a few moves besides the one PK that has incredible reach, which is basically what I like calling her sexy leg long reach kick or stomp kick, which for Leifang players that are familiar with her, it's executed simply by, I believe, tapping a neutral position, no inputs, hold plus kick, or you can just tap right trigger if you have it assigned to the this custom configuration I told you about that you should put on your thing before you attempt survival. That can cover around 3 steps away from you actually. So if you want to play entirely safe from her, I suggest learning how to keep 3 steps away from her, and you should be fine. That being said, she's not very that hard to deal with unless she's up close. If she's up close, we gotta try our best to shake her off. And then, again, like, get ourselves in the proper position to start that 1 PK game on her, trap game on her, or annoy her. Anyway, let's try to lay out or identify the exposed hitbox of Leifang. Obviously she's too close, I don't want that to happen. Open hitbox right there. Oh yeah, when we're